you गुरुजी, थैंक यू हमें इस लायक समझने के लिए कि हम शिव पुराण पढ़ पा रहे हैं, सुन पा रहे हैं. जस्ट रिक्वेस्ट टू गुरुजी कि गुरुजी हमें इस लायक बनाएं जितना आप हमें समझाना चाहते हैं उतना हम समझ पाएं. So here is the synopsis from the last read. We were reading about Sandhya, who was advised as per Shivji to go to Medatiti's ashram, who was performing a great penance there, and cast off her body into the fire, which she did. She went there unnoticed, and she actually gave away her body into the fire. And at the end of the when her body was burned, actually. Fire purified her body and it was sent to sun. Sun divided her body into two parts, where the upper portion of her body became dawn, which is delightful to gods, and the lower portion of her body became dusk, which delights all the mains. So at the end of the sacrifice, when her body was burnt, Medatati found his daughter. He delightfully took her into his hands and took care of her. And he named her Arundhati. That's how Arundhati was born. So Arundhati was a perfect child. She religiously followed all the right practices, whatever was taught to her. When she grew up, with Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh's blessing, she was married to Maharishi Vashisht, and Vashisht is the same person whom actually she remembered at the time of going into the fire, as per Shiva's advice, to remember one person whom she wants it to be her future husband. So she was happily married to Maharishi Vashisht, and that's how Sandhya, who was reborn as Arundhati, was blessed by Shivji. It also talks about a conversation that had happened between Brahmaji and Vishnuji, but how it started was a worry which Brahmaji had with regards to Shivji not being married, because he thought that he is detaching himself from the world, just because Shivji criticized him when he expresses his desire, when Brahmaji expresses his desire to have a woman in her life. So he thought that the Shiva is just dedicating his life to all the yogic practices, and he's just going away from the world, and world is just mediocre. It's not going the right course. So he thought of a plan. He said he thought many ways of how Shiva can be enchanted. So he took his son's help, and he actually his son Kama, his wife Rati, and a few of his followers, actually his other sons as well, came forward, tried multiple times, but everything went in vain. All their attempts went in vain, and none of them were successful. Finally, Kama actually came, and there he told Brahmaji that he is incompetent to enchant Shiva. Shiva cannot be enchanted. Brahmaji, in his own delusion, he did not realize the fact that whom he is worried about is actually Shiva. Shiva, who's not just the creator, the sustainer, the destroyer. He was totally out of his way, because he thought Rudra, Shiva, whom he's thinking about, is actually his son. So he has to, he's just thinking of good to him, and he thought nothing else could be effective except the endeavor of Kama. So, but nothing went good the way he wanted to. So he was more distressed, he was more stressful. So he actually remembered Vishnuji, when Vishnu appeared and asked him of his, what is it that is causing trouble, or what's your misery? And there, when Brahma narrated him the cause of his misery, Vishnuji was very surprised. And there he told him to come out of your misery and think and have the pure conscience, and think from the right state of mind, where you should not think Shiva as your son. Rather, Shiva is the one who has not only created me but you and Rudra, whom you are worrying at this point of time. He told him that Shiva, when he created Vishnu and Brahma, and gave them what they're supposed to be doing, he also mentioned that he would be reincarnated as Rudra, which is the full form of Shiva and the perfect manifestation. He told both of them to worship him as they're worshipping Shiva. So Vishnu advised Brahma to, if you are willing to do something, if you are willing that Shiva or Rudra should come into a family relationship, then you should actually worship Goddess Durga there, because Goddess Durga is beloved to Shiva, and if she would want, then she can take as a human child, she can take birth as a human child, and she can be married, and that is what Shiva also said, that Rudra would be born, and Mata Uma, the third form, would be Sati. So this time, now we would be reading about how Sati was born and why they thought that Sati would be the perfect one match for Rudra. Today's English reading would be done by Rima Auntie. This is for chapter 11 and 10. 11 and 12, and Hindi reading would be done by Ashwini Uncle. Thank you.
Jai Guruji, Shukrana Guruji. I'll be reading chapter 11 and 12. Him to Durga, Brahma granted a boon. Narada said, O Brahma dear, of great intellect, please tell me, O most eloquent one, when Vishnu went away, what happened? Oh, what did you do? Brahma said, O Brahmin, best of my sons, listen attentively to what I did when the Lord Vishnu went away. I began a continuous laudatory prayer of the goddess Durga, the beloved of Shiva, the creator of the universe, of the nature of Vidya and Avidya, and identical with the pure supreme Brahman. I salute the goddess who is omnipresent, eternal, for whom there is no support, who is never distressed, who is the mother of the three deities, who is the grossest of the gross and yet has no form. O Goddess of the Devas, you are perfect knowledge, supreme bliss, identical with the Supreme Soul. Be pleased, grant me the fulfillment of my task. Obeisance to you. O celestial sage, on being thus lauded, Chandika, the mystic slumber appeared before me. Her complexion had the glossy hue of collyrium. She had comely features. She had 4 divine arms. She was seated on a lion. She showed the mystic gesture of granting boons by one of her hands, and pearls adorned her disheveled hair. Her face shone like autumnal moon. The crescent moon bedecked her forehead. She had 3 eyes, looked beautiful, and the nails of her lotus-like feet glistened. O sage, seeing her who was Shiva's energy herself, directly in front of me, my lofty shoulders bent down with devotion, and I eulogized her after due obeisance. Obeisance, obeisance to thee, who art in the form of pravritti, action, and nritti, abstinence, who art in the form of creation and sustenance of the universe. Thou art the eternal energy of the movable and the immovable, beings capable of enchanting everyone. Thou hast manifested thyself as Shri, a garland round Keshava's form, who is in the form of earth, holdest everything within, who art of yore the great goddess causing creation and the destruction of the 3 worlds, and art beyond the 3 gunas. Thou art present in everything, even in the essential atom, and who art charmingly honored by yogins, who art perceivable in the hearts of the yogin, purified by restraints as well as in the path of their meditation. Thou art the Vidya of diverse sorts. Thou art endowed with illumination, purity, and detachment. Thou assumest Kutashta, perpetually immovable, Avyakta, unmanifest, and Ananta, infinite form, and thou art the eternal time holding all the worlds. O Shiva, thou art the premium, the prime cause of the 3 gunas, and art still beyond them, but in conjunction with the gunas, thou certainly infusest the seed of change in every matter. Thou art the 4th to the 3 gunas with sattva, rajas, and tamas, but devoid of their depravity, so these originate from thee. Thou createst, protectest, and devourest the whole universe within and without having 3 gunas as its only cause. I pay my homage to thee, O Shiva's consort, for the eternal welfare of the universe. O seed of all the worlds, thou art knowledgeable as well as knowledge thyself. On hearing these words of mine, uttered like words of ordinary people, Kali, the conceiver of the worlds, told me, the creator of the worlds, in words full of love. The goddess said, O Brahma, why was I lauded by you? If you have been slighted by any one, please mention it quickly to me. When I have personally appeared, the realization of your desires is certain. Hence, let me know your desires. I shall certainly fulfill them. Brahma said, O goddess, be pleased with me and listen. O omniscient goddess, I speak out my mind only since you have commanded me thus. A goddess of Devas, Shiva the Yogin, who is your husband and who as Rudra manifested himself formerly through my forehead, has now occupied Kailasha. The Lord of Goblins is performing penance all alone. Since he does not desire a wife, he is without a wife. He is free from mental aberrations. O Sati, fascinate him, lest he should cast his glance on another lady. Excepting you, none will be able to capture his mind. Hence, you alone should fascinate Shiva through your beauty. A Shiva, being born as Daksha's daughter, you should become Rudra's wife. Just as assuming the physical form of Lakshmi, you delight Vishnu, so act similarly to Rudra for the benefit of the universe. The bull-emblemed deity rebuked me merely for my feelings of love for a woman. He take a wife unto himself, O goddess, on his own accord. Shiva is the cause of this universe in the beginning, middle, and end. If he remains detached and refuses to take a wife, how can auspicious creation come into being? This thought has tormented me. It was not conducive to any benefit to seek another shelter. So I request you for the benefit of the universe to accomplish the undertaking. O Mother of the Universe, Vishnu is not competent to enthrall him, nor Lakshmi, nor Kama, nor I. In fact, no one other than you. Hence be born as Daksha's daughter, the great goddess of celestial beauty. Inspired by my devotion, be pleased to become his wife and fascinate the Lord who at present is detached from the world. O goddess of Devas, Daksha is performing a penance on the north of the Milky Ocean with his mind controlled and directed towards you. He is steady in performing the rite. On hearing my words, Shiva began to reflect then. The mother of the universe, surprised in her mind, spoke these words. The goddess said, Oh, this is an extremely wonderful thing. He is the reciter of the Vedas and the creator of the universe. He is endowed with great knowledge, yet what is this that he says? A great delusion has beset his mind that makes him unhappy. That is why he desires to cause the fascination of Shiva, who is free from mental aberration. This Brahma desires the favor of power from me to enchant Shiva. What does he gain thereby? The great Lord is free from delusion and mental aberrations. Always subservient to his bidding, I am a mere slave of Shiva, the supreme Brahman, the attributeless God who is free from depravity. Shiva, who is the Param Brahma, has become Rudra in a perfect and full-fledged incarnation and manifestation. It is to lift up his devotees that the independent Lord has manifested like this. Since he is the Lord Vishnu and Brahma, he can never be inferior to Shiva. He is respectfully adhering to yoga practice. He is the Lord of illusion but is not absorbed in it. He is the greatest of the great. This Brahma considers him his son and on a par with ordinary devas, hence deluded by ignorance, he desires to delude him. If I do not grant him the boon, the convention established in the Vedas would be violated. Then what shall I do to prevent the great Lord being angry with me? Brahma said, after pondering the Shiva thought of Shiva, after getting the permission of Shiva, she said to me, Durga said, O Brahma, what you said is entirely true. There is no other lady to fascinate Shiva. A great truth has been pointed out by you that if Shiva does not take a wife unto himself, the creation cannot continue long. I too had been endeavoring to enchant this great Lord. After your request, my efforts shall be redoubled. I shall so endeavor that Shiva should take a wife unto himself, being thus deluded himself, O Brahma. I shall take up the body of Sati and be subservient to him, even as Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, is the beloved of Vishnu. O Brahma, thanks to his own favor, I shall so endeavor as to make him subservient to me always. O Brahma, being born of Daksha's wife in the form of Sati, I shall duly honor Shiva with my sports. Just as ordinary mortals on the earth are subservient to their women folk, so also Shiva shall be subservient to a woman due to my ardent devotion. Brahma said, after addressing me, thus Shiva, the mother of the universe, vanished from the scene even as I was watching her. When she had vanished, I, the grandfather of the worlds, went to my son and narrated to them everything. Chapter 12. Daksha granted the boon. Narada said, O Brahma, the sinless and the intelligent one, you have splendidly narrated the story of Shiv and Shiva. My life has been sanctified. This is conducive to my benefit. Now please tell me what the boon was that Daksha, with steady sacred rites and austere penance, secured from the goddess, and how she became Daksha's daughter. Brahma said, O Narada, listen. You are blessed. You are revered by all sages with devotion. Hear how, with good sacred rites, Daksha performed penance and secured boons. At my bidding, the intelligent Daksha, the great chief, controlled his mind and went to worship the goddess, the mother of the universe, with that cherished desire. He went to the northern shore of the ocean of milk and began to perform the penance, keeping the mother of the universe in his heart. He wished to see the goddess in person. For 3,000 divine years he performed the penance with good sacred rites, controlling his mind and keeping himself pure. For some years he sustained himself on taking in only air, abstaining from food, for some years taking only water, and for some years taking only leaves as food. Thus he spent the time meditating upon the goddess in cosmic form. He was intensively devoted to the meditation of the goddess. He was engaged in the penance for a long time. With sacred rites and various restraints, he worshipped the goddess. O excellent sage, the Shiva appeared in person to Daksha, who maintained all restraints, yama, etc., and worshipped the mother of the universe. On seeing the mother of the universe, cosmic in form, Daksha, the lord of the subjects, considered himself well rewarded. With various sorts of prayer, he eulogized and bowed to the goddess mother of the universe, Kalika seated on a lion, dark complexion, with 4 arms and beautiful face, the bestower of the boon, the abode of safety, holding a blue lotus and the sword in her hands, comely with reddish eyes and with beautiful disheveled hair. Daksha said, obeisance to thee, O great goddess, mother of the universe, wielding the great illusion, the ruler of the universe, it is with great favor that thou showed thy own body to me. Be pleased, O primordial goddess, be pleased, O goddess in the form of Shiva, be pleased, O bestower of boons to the devotees, obeisance be to thee, O wielder of illusion over the universe. Brahma said, O sage, thus eulogized by Daksha of purified soul, the goddess spoke to Daksha, although she knew what his desire was. The goddess said, O Daksha, I am very much delighted by your great devotion. Choose a boon according to your desire. There is nothing which shall not be granted to you. Brahma said, on hearing the words of the mother of the universe, Daksha Prajapati was very happy, and he said to Shiva, after bowing to her frequently, Daksha said, O wielder of great illusion, O mother of the universe, if you wish to grant me any boon, please listen to my words with pleasure. Be pleased to fulfill my desire. My Lord and Master Shiva has manifested himself as Brahma's son in the name of Rudra. He is the perfect and full-fledged incarnation of the Supreme Soul. You have not so far incarnated. Who will be his wife? Hence, O Shiva, take an incarnation on the earth and fascinate the great Lord. Excepting you, no other lady will be ever competent to enthrall him. Hence, be born as my daughter and become Shiva's consort. Exhibiting your divine sports as this, O goddess, you be the enchantress of Shiva. This is the only boon I crave of you. I speak out the truth to you. This fulfills my own interest. Indeed, it fulfills the interest of all the worlds as well as those of Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. Hence, I have been induced by Brahma in this direction. Brahma said, on hearing these words of Daksha, the mother of the universe replied, smiling, after thinking on Shiva. The goddess said, Dear one, O Daksha Prajapati, listen to my weighty words. I tell you the truth. I am much delighted by your devotion. I shall bestow everything. Subservient to your devotion, O Daksha, I, the great goddess, shall be born of your wife as your daughter. There is no doubt in this. O sinless one, I shall perform a penance strenuously and shall become Shiva's wife after I have secured a boon from him to that effect. Otherwise, there is no chance of the fulfillment of the object. The Lord is free from all aberrations. He is the full incarnation of Sadashiv, worthy of being served by Brahma and Vishnu. I and his slave forever, his beloved in every birth, incarnation, Shiva, who manifests himself in many forms, is indeed my master. It was by his favor that he manifested through the eyebrows of Brahma. I too shall incarnate by his favor and at his bidding. O dear one, go back to your residence. I have known my mission. Born as your daughter, ere long I shall be Shiva's wife. Having spoken these splendid words, she sought and obtained Shiva's permission through mental communion. While thinking on Shiva's lotus-like feet, the goddess spoke as follows. But, O Prajapati, you have to take a vow. It is a precondition. I shall tell you, it is true, never false. Please understand. If in future you were to be less respectful to me, I will cast off my body. Brahma said, after speaking thus to Daksha, the chief Prajapati, the great goddess immediately vanished even as Daksha was watching. When she had vanished, Daksha returned to his hermitage. He rejoiced because he knew that the great goddess would become his daughter. Jai Guruji. Now Ashwin uncle will be reading the Hindi Shiv Puran. Jai Guruji, Shukrana Guruji.
जय गुरु जी। अध्याय 11 और 12 दक्ष में वरदान देना। नारद जी ने पूछा, पूज्य पिताजी, दृढ़तापूर्वक उत्तम व्रत का पालन करने वाले दक्ष ने तपस्या करके देवी से कौन सा वर प्राप्त किया तथा वे देवी किस प्रकार दक्ष की कन्या हुई। ब्रह्मा जी ने कहा, नारद, तुम धन्य हो। इन सब मुनियों के साथ भक्ति पूर्वक इस प्रसंग को सुनो। मेरी आज्ञा पाकर उत्तम बुद्धि वाले महाप्रजापति दक्ष ने क्षीर सागर के उत्तर तट पर स्थित हो देवी जगदम्बिका को पुत्री के रूप में प्राप्त करने की इच्छा तथा उनके प्रत्यक्ष दर्शन की कामना के लिए उन्हें हृदय मंदिर में विराजमान करके तपस्या प्रारंभ की। दक्ष ने मन को संयम में रखकर दृढ़तापूर्वक कठोर व्रत का पालन करते हुए शोच संतोषादि नियमों से युक्त हो 3000 दिव्य वर्षों तक तप किया। वे कभी जल पीकर रहते, कभी हवा पीते और कभी सर्वथा उपवास करते थे। भोजन के नाम पर कभी सूखे पत्ते चबा लेते थे। मुनि श्रेष्ठ नारद तदंतर यम नियमादि से युक्त हो जगदम्बा की पूजा में लगे हुए दक्ष को देवी शिवा ने प्रत्यक्ष दर्शन दिया। जगन्मयी जगदम्बा का प्रत्यक्ष दर्शन पाकर प्रजापति दक्ष ने अपने आप को कृतकृत्य माना। वे कालिका देवी सिंह पर आरूढ़ थी। उनकी अंग कांति श्याम थी, मुख बड़ा ही मनोहर था। वे 4 भुजाओं से युक्त थीं और हाथों में वरद, अभय, नील, कमल और खड्ग धारण किए हुए थी। उनकी मूर्ति बड़ी मनोहारिणी थी। नेत्र कुछ कुछ लाल थे। खुले हुए केश बड़े सुंदर दिखाई देते थे। उत्तम प्रभा से प्रकाशित होने वाली उन जगदम्बा को भली भांति प्रणाम करके दक्ष विचित्र वचनावलियों द्वारा उनकी स्तुति करने लगे। दक्ष ने कहा, जगदम्ब, महामाये, जगदीशे, माहेश्वरी, आपको नमस्कार है। आप कृपा करके मुझे अपने स्वरूप का दर्शन कराया है। भगवती आध्य, मुझ पर प्रसन्न होइए। शिवरूपिणी, प्रसन्न होइए। भक्त वरदायिनी, प्रसन्न होइए। जगन्माये, आपको मेरा नमस्कार है। ब्रह्मा जी कहते हैं, मुने, संयत चित्त वाले दक्ष के इस प्रकार स्तुति करने पर महेश्वरी शिवा ने स्वयं ही उनके अभिप्राय को जान लिया तो भी दक्ष से इस प्रकार कहा, दक्ष, तुम्हारी इस उत्तम भक्ति से मैं बहुत संतुष्ट हूँ। तुम अपना मनोवांछित वर मांगो। तुम्हारे लिए मुझे कुछ भी अदेय नहीं है। जगदम्बा की यह बात सुनकर प्रजापति दक्ष बहुत प्रसन्न हुए और उन शिवा को बारंबार प्रणाम करते हुए बोले। दक्ष ने कहा, जगदम्ब, महामाये, यदि आप मुझे वर देने के लिए उद्यत हैं तो मेरी बात सुनिए और प्रसन्नतापूर्वक मेरी इच्छा पूर्ण कीजिए। मेरे स्वामी जो भगवान शिव हैं, वे रुद्र नाम धारण करके ब्रह्मा जी के पुत्र रूप से अवतीर्ण हुए हैं। वे परमात्मा शिव के पूर्ण अवतार हैं, परंतु आपका कोई अवतार नहीं हुआ। फिर उनकी पत्नी कौन होगी? अतः शिवे, आप भूतल पर अवतीर्ण होकर उन महेश्वर को अपने रूप लावण्य से मोहित कीजिए। देवी, आपके सिवा दूसरी कोई स्त्री रुद्रदेव को कभी मोहित नहीं कर सकती। इसलिए आप मेरी पुत्री होकर इस समय महादेव जी की पत्नी होइए। इस प्रकार सुंदर लीला करके आप हर मोहिनी भगवान शिव को मोहित करने वाली बनिए। देवी, यही मेरे लिए वर है। यह केवल मेरे ही स्वार्थ की बात हो ऐसा नहीं सोचना चाहिए। इसमें मेरे ही साथ संपूर्ण जगत का भी हित है। ब्रह्मा, विष्णु और शिव में ब्रह्मा जी की प्रेरणा से मैं यहाँ आया हूँ। प्रजापति दक्ष का यह वचन सुनकर जगदम्बिका शिवा हंस पड़ी और मनी मन भगवान शिव का स्मरण करते हुए बोली। देवी ने कहा, तात प्रजापति दक्ष, मेरी उत्तम बात सुनो। मैं सत्य कहती हूँ, तुम्हारी भक्ति से अत्यंत प्रसन्न हो तुम्हें संपूर्ण मनोवांछित वस्तु देने के लिए उद्यत हूँ। दक्ष, यद्यपि मैं महेश्वरी हूँ, तथापि तुम्हारी भक्ति के अधीन हो तुम्हारी पत्नी के गर्भ से तुम्हारी पुत्री के रूप में अवतीर्ण होंगी, इसमें संशय नहीं है। अनघ्य, मैं अत्यंत दुस्सह तपस्या करके ऐसा प्रयत्न करूंगी जिससे महादेव जी का वर पाकर उनकी पत्नी हो जाऊं। इसके सिवा और किसी उपाय से कार्य सिद्ध नहीं हो सकता, क्योंकि वे भगवान सदाशिव सर्वथा निर्विकार हैं और ब्रह्मा और विष्णु के भी सेव्य हैं तथा नित्य परिपूर्ण रूप ही हैं। मैं सदा उनकी दासी और प्रिया हूँ। प्रत्येक जन्म में वे नाना रूपधारी शंभु ही मेरे स्वामी होते हैं। भगवान सदाशिव अपने दिए हुए वर के प्रभाव से ब्रह्मा जी की भ्रिकुटी से रुद्र रूप में अवतीर्ण हुए हैं। मैं भी उनके वर से उनकी आज्ञा के अनुसार यहाँ अवतार लूंगी। तात, अब तुम अपने घर को जाओ। इस कार्य में जो मेरी दूती अथवा सहायिका होगी उसे मैंने जान लिया है। अब शीघ्र ही मैं तुम्हारी पुत्री होकर महादेव जी की पत्नी बनूंगी। दक्ष से यह उत्तम वचन कहकर मन ही मन शिव की आज्ञा प्राप्त करके देवी शिवा ने शिव के चरनार विंदों का चिंतन करते हुए फिर कहा, प्रजापति, परंतु मेरा एक प्रण है, उसे तुम्हें सदा मन में रखना चाहिए। मैं उस प्रण को सुना देती हूँ, तुम उसे सत्य समझो, मिथ्या ना मानो। यदि कभी मेरे प्रति तुम्हारा आदर घट जाएगा, तब उसी समय मैं अपने शरीर को त्याग दूंगी, अपने स्वरूप में लीन हो जाऊंगी अथवा दूसरा शरीर धारण कर लूंगी। मेरा यह कथन सत्य है प्रजापति। प्रत्येक सर्ग या कल्प के लिए तुम्हें यह वर दे दिया गया। मैं तुम्हारी पुत्री होकर भगवान शिव की पत्नी होंगी। मुख्य प्रजापति दक्ष से ऐसा कहकर महेश्वरी शिवा उनके देखते देखते वहीं अंतर्ध्यान हो गईं। दुर्गा जी के अंतर्ध्यान होने पर दक्ष भी अपने आश्रम को लौट गए और यह सोचकर प्रसन्न रहने लगे कि देवी शिवा मेरी पुत्री होने वाली हैं। अध्याय 11 और 12